How to grow your cleaning business in a small town. Well, I know this very well because I actually did it. In my second cleaning company, um, we moved to a town that only had 15,000 people in it. We didn't know anybody; nobody knew us. So it was quite interesting to start a cleaning company in a very small town like that, and try to scale it to a reasonable size. So some of the things that I did is, first of all, I started building relationships with people. And how I did that is I actually started joining some networking groups, such as the Chamber of Commerce, BNI, and any of those networking groups like that. I think I probably belonged to 3 or 4 at the time, just to get out there and build relationships with people so I could let people know, hey, hey, I'm Steve Hansen. This is what I do. I'm the owner of One Source Facility Care, or Hansen Building Maintenance, or whatever the name of my company was at that time. But I did that, and it took me about 3 months before I actually got my first client. Because what I was doing is, besides the networking, I also would get involved with some charitable groups in the small city, in the small town. And by doing that, I was able to build more relationships, which was fantastic. And again, people learn what I do and what I had to offer, and word eventually would get around. But I eventually got my first account just from doing a cold call walk-in. And that's not the best use of your time, but it is something that we can do. I typically will tell people that the best time to do a cold call walk-in is after you've gone to an appointment, you left the appointment, and you're heading back to your vehicle. Then just pop into some companies, have a business card or a flyer, introduce yourself, and hopefully you may be able to get some business. Well, that's actually how I got my first account in that small town. And this account was a very small office. I think it was probably around 1,500 square feet. I think I cleaned it 1 day per week. But it ended up being a fantastic account. And here's the thing is that once I got that account and I was going to some Chamber of Commerce networking events, I got to know more people, and that's how I got my some other accounts, is from my networking through the chamber in the small town. Eventually, I had the local telephone company, and then after I had a few more clients, the doors just started to pop open and burst open. And for many years, I would double my business year after year after year. I think probably for 4 or 5 years that had happened. And so it was quite interesting. But the things that I did is I diversified my accounts. Being that it's a small town, I had to diversify. I couldn't just stick to general offices or some certain niche. So that's what I did, and that worked out fantastic. So once I was doing that, I also had to do some market research, because I did have some competition in this small town. And I learned very quickly, though, that in that town, that well, a lot of these people didn't do the best quality of work, and they lacked a lot of knowledge, in the cleaning industry. Now you have to remember, this is my second cleaning company when I moved to this small town. So my learning curve, there was no learning curve. I already had developed 14 years in my first company that I built and sold. So I had no learning curve. I knew exactly what I had to do in order to build a successful cleaning company. But it was still a challenge. It was a small city, a small town, and it was a place where nobody knew me and I didn't know anybody. But we were able to do it. We actually were able to do the things that I'm talking about. And, I had to do my market research and learn about my competition because we are also a janitorial supply house in this small town. It's rather interesting because what I did is, when I was doing my research for suppliers, I'm a total believer that if you're going to be in the cleaning business, you have to have a good supplier. But the thing is, with a supplier, they have to be knowledgeable about their products and equipment. And every company I called in that town and surrounding towns, didn't have the knowledge. I was really surprised by that. So that's when I told Gene, I says, well, we'll just do a janitorial supply house too. So that's what we did. We opened up a janitorial supply house and a commercial cleaning company in this small town. So that's what I was doing, is that I was selling both janitorial supplies and our commercial cleaning. So it was a great way to get in the door, my foot in the door. So they might have had a cleaning service already, but I was selling supplies. So I was selling toilet paper, hand towels, Kleenex, hand soaps, and all the things that everybody needed. It was a great way for me to get in the door, and I got into many doors that way. And then after they learned that we were actually a janitorial company, we often would take over the janitorial cleaning. And like I say, after that 90 days, probably 4 months or so, the doors just burst open. It was just amazing. It was amazing what had happened. But the thing was that, I did my market research, and I also started setting appointments with people. So my goal whenever I went to a network event was to meet a new person. In fact, I always wanted to meet, at least 5 new people. And I didn't focus on myself. I focused on them. I had to learn more about them and about their business and how I could help them. I wasn't interested in selling what I had because I knew that would always come around anyway. But that's what I did. And that's how I was able to build more relationships with people and became known as a connector. And that's really how I was able to build my business in this small town, is because I built my network, and I knew somebody that that could handle, if they're an electrician or a plumber, or if somebody needed a moving company, I had somebody in my network that did that. So I was just connecting people, and helping them solve the problems that they had at the time. So that really helped me. But the great thing there was, like I say, my first account was that it was from a cold call walk-in. And like I say, that first account, I think it was about 1,500 square feet, cleaning 1 day per week. Eventually, that company, they came to me and said, "Steve, do you know we're moving?" And I hadn't heard anything yet. But I said, "No." And I said, "Yeah, we're actually moving, and we're going to be moving into a 3-story building. We're going to take the entire 3rd floor." Which was amazing because, again, this is a small town. They didn't have, come to think of it now, I don't think they had any 3-story buildings in town except for the one that was going to be built. So that's pretty exciting. It was about a 30,000 square foot facility altogether. And they were going to anchor the building. How great is that? But anyway, to tell you this is that company that I walked into was a very, very large company that just had a satellite office in that town in a building. And so it was fantastic because from that point forward, obviously we should always be doing research on our clients to know more and as much as we can about them. And and that's where all this came about, that I learned that, wow, this is a very large company. And anyway, they moved into the 3rd floor of that building. And it took me probably about 12 months, 6 to 8 months maybe, because they haven't even broke ground on the building yet. And they gave me the name of the person that was going to manage the building. And so I contacted that person right away and introduced myself and said that, the people from XYZ company referred me to you and said that I should call you and talk to you about cleaning your facility. So anyway, I continued to build a relationship with that person. And what I did is I actually signed them up on our newsletter. That's how I kept in touch with them month after month, is through our newsletter. And then I'd make a phone call once in a while and see how things were going. And I'd always stop by the work site. I knew the cleaning company, or I knew the company that was building the building. It was a large company that had an office in that town. But I would always stop by the construction site and see how they were doing. Because I got a background in construction too, so that really helps. But anyway, that's why I was able to watch the whole phase of how things were going. The construction company actually hired another cleaning company to do the construction cleanup, which was fine, but the bottom line is that when the building was ready to open up for tenants, we got the account. So I was able to close the account for that 30,000 square foot facility. It was cleaned 5 days a week. So it was fantastic. So just from that very first account that I got from a cold call walk-in, turned into a 30,000 square foot facility where we did all types of work for them. You know, the general cleaning. We did some floor work and a lot of other things. But it was fantastic. So anyway, that's how you can take and grow a cleaning business in a small town. You have to build relationships. That's where it all starts. Once you start building relationships, doors will open. So don't get discouraged. You know, like I say, it took me, I think, 90 days before I got my first account. And I was getting discouraged, to be honest with you. I thought, you know, what's going on here? I can't even get an account. But, you know, it's just got to be patient, and, you know, it will happen. And it certainly did for us. So with that business, what we did is we continued to build that business up for another, 7 years, I think it was. And unfortunately, then we decided to sell that company too, because our parents were having health issues. So we decided to sell the company, and so we sold it to a very, very large company out of the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. At that time, they were doing over $300 million a year. So it worked out very well. We also, during that period of time, you know, we grew that business to quite a decent size. We were able to build our own building, and that was very nice. We had a 3,000 square foot building. That's all we needed. That's how we ran our janitorial supply and commercial cleaning company out of, and it was just perfect. But that's what we were able to do from zero, and built it up to be a very successful company in a very small town. So if I can do it, you can do it. And what you'll find is on the Janitorial Store, you know, we've just got a wealth of information for anybody that's trying to build a cleaning company. And it doesn't matter what size city that you're in. You know, the systems and the tools that we have, they work for small cities, large cities. So, you know, it's all there. You know, we invite you to check it out. There's a lot of free stuff. Just, you know, go to the janitorialstore.com. And you'll be able to find a lot of information. The same thing with myhousecleaningbiz.com for the residential side of the business. Again, we got a wealth of information there for anybody that's starting a residential cleaning company and or has you know, even a seasoned cleaning company. We got a lot of great tools and a lot of things that we can teach you to help scale your business. So hopefully you found this helpful. And don't get discouraged. Even if you're in a small town, you can still build a successful cleaning company in a small town. So hopefully you like this. If you did, go ahead and click on that like and share button. And as usual, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you know, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, or click on this subscribe button, and you'll be able to get notifications of all the videos that we turn out. Typically, we try to do at least one a week for sure, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. So, you know, that'll keep you abreast of what we're doing. And, you know, I'm Steve Hansen, co-founder of the Janitorialstore.com and myhousecleaningbiz.com. Thanks again for checking in with us, and we'll see you next time.